Hey guys, welcome to live stream. In this live stream, we are gonna be checking out some gang stalking content on the website Twitter X. One of the main purposes of us doing this type of stream is to help us understand the fact that a lot of the problems with understanding gang stalking is the fact that a lot of is the fact that a lot of the gang stalking material is actually not intended to be helpful. It's intended to drive targets crazy. And when it's anything about gang stalking, the more you understand gang stalking, the more you see the truth. And the truth is not is that if you're already targeted, there is an actual push of false narratives that are meant to drive targets crazy. These narratives are actually intended to make us sound like we are insane. So well, it's all about conspirational theories, and we pretty much demystify and help targets understand exactly what gang stalking is about and how to deal with it. So we're gonna start here, and right now we are checking out. Let's see what we find here today. So notice that there's a lot of accounts like here that say MK Ultra guinea pig, that push this narrative of them actually being harassed. Like, let's see Lola in the 1990s, who was still WHO was still warning about dangers of 5G microwaves, the negative effects of holding the phone to your ear, how it affected the brain. No longer graphite oxide nanotech agenda of the WHO and the UN. Like, notice that all of this is still pushing a narrative. Like, question one, you should ask yourself, who the hell is actually benefiting from these? You know what I mean? Like, who is benefiting from this type of content? So Hong Chang International says, check out the book says check out the book Invisible Rainbow. We are surrounded by frequencies that can affect your mind and also need to detox. So what, tell me more. So let's look, so let's check that out. So the book is called Invisible Rainbow. Let's check that a little bit. So hey Shakib.
Record, edit, and share your podcast, all.
Barcelona is the kind of city where
What?
no matter how many tourists flood the streets, the history refuses to fade. The soul of this place isn't for sale, and it's on the outskirts, away from the crowds, where you really get it.
So no tourists here.
That deep, stubborn Catalan culture, surviving centuries.
Let's see. Is there a video that you prefer us to check out? Let's see this one. The one with the most views. 24K. Let's check this out.
Hi and welcome back to Scotty's Tech.info. I'm Scotty with my co-host Cletus. And today I want to do a review of a rather interesting book. Actually several viewers recommended it quite a while ago, and I finally got around to reading it. And the name of that book is The Invisible Rainbow, A History of Electricity and Life by one Arthur Furstenberg. Now, the author, Furstenberg, I think he got a bachelor's degree in mathematics, then he went to med school, and while he was in med school, he had something like a series of 40 dental x-rays or something.
Thank you, Shakir.
And during this time, he discovered that he is what they call electrosensitive, and he had all kinds of health problems. He apparently still does to this day, so he's become sort of a crusader for less wireless stuff, less electrical pollution, that sort of thing. So, as I say, I finally got around to reading this book, and it's totally fascinating. The first thing I have to say is that it's about 565 pages long.
That's a lot.
But the last approximately 42% of the book is a short notes section and then an absolutely massive bibliography. It talks about historically what's actually gone on with the electrification of the world, both in terms of electricity, telegraph wires, eventually, everything, cell phones, Wi-Fi, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, and he talks about the history of how the introduction of each of these new technologies seemed to coincide with certain health problems in the general population. Now, his history starts, interestingly enough, with the story of static electricity, and as far back as I think it was 1764, all these people were experimenting with like Leyden jars and the devices that generate static electricity. And apparently back in the day, they were doing all sorts of crazy things like zapping each other with static electricity, and people were claiming that it would
So I don't believe in any of these, just FYI.
Other people were saying, no, it's dangerous. They would do crazy things like give themselves god-awful headaches or make parts of their body numb for like 2 days, and everyone was just sort of electrocuting one another. It's a little bit interesting. And when he reviews this whole history, he kind of talks about how there were certain positive effects on the human body, and there were also certain negative effects. And eventually, of course, telegraphs came around, electric power came around, and with the introduction of each of these new technologies, some sort of illness resulted. And it wasn't just limited to human beings.
You're welcome,
There were
Porge.
also problems with plant life, with animal life. Trees would die, birds would die. In fact, he talks about, I think it was the first recorded bee die-off back in 1904. You may recall that a couple years ago, it was all over the mainstream media. They were saying, oh my God, what's happening to the bees? It's colony collapse disorder. And of course, some people were suggesting, well, we've got all this 4G and we're introducing experimental 5G, and the level of saturation of all this RF stuff is kind of, it's like off the charts.
I honestly have zero belief in all this RF stuff and microwave. I don't believe any of this.
Shows a correlation between the introduction of early, I think it was early radio frequency systems. And of course, this was back in the old days, so it's very early radio and that sort of thing. The introduction of these various systems, including just simple telegraph wires with simple electrical pulses running over them. It didn't have to actually be wireless. Any sort of electrification, wired, wireless, even 50 or 60 hertz AC or even DC power lines running,
This is boring. I want something more like
city,
graphs.
incidences of diseases started going up, and it precisely correlates. He shows again and again and again how it precisely...
Let's look for something else, something a little bit more. I electrocuted by accident from my piano since the...
Well, hello. Today I could not be more excited because I'm about to embark on something that I've waited a long time to discuss with you guys, which is The Invisible Rainbow. This is a book that is written
Oh
by
my God.
Arthur
He looks like he
Furstenberg.
worked
It's called A History of
at
Electricity
Sprouts.
and Life. This
You
has
know what I
been
mean?
One of my absolute
That he works in the essential
favorite
oil
books
section of
to
Sprouts.
share with people and to address, bring up points of topics and conversations with people over the years. And it's one that I'm always trying to advocate for people to read for themselves, because fundamentally what I found in this book was a paradigm shift from understanding what is going on in our bodies, first of all, and how we interact with
There's
this
nothing
electric
like that about
fluid
the awake.
that is
Like,
going on around us.
I know the
electromagnetic
awakening
radiation,
exists.
these
I know
electromagnetic
that.
fields that we're all constantly being exposed to on a regular basis, versus what it was like
Because
for
I
the
lived
human
it.
experience, the persons that were born of old that didn't have this type of constant battle that we're now dealing with. And so I'm going to give you guys the best as I can. It's going to be a little bit of a multi-part series, so I'm going to give you guys a lot of breadth today. Just kind of, I'm going to surface pick along here, because I've got, I don't know, 100 pages that
Oh my
I
God,
really
this is
like
2
to
hours?
diligently go over with you. This is my third time reading through this book, and I have a lot of annotations and a lot of keynotes that I'd really like to share with you. But on the first overview that
Okay,
we go
so-
through
so
here today, I'm going to give you
let-
guys just
look.
a basic summary of what happened.
Let's check out the whole thing with the 5G. Let's start with that. How's that? But let's see. Studies of 5G on the human body. I just can't watch this. Let's see. CNET. Let's check this out.
Out. So
This sounds. It sounds like it could be like a better thing to
Meta,
watch.
bust rate Frank again.
so how exactly will millimeter wave technology affect the human?
Let's see.
Meta, how can I get my 2-year-old
Another
his
freaking
breakfast?
ad.
He likes it when you make silly faces.
Come on, ad.
5G is all the rage right now, but some people are worried that it could make them sick. So we've decided to do a deep dive on this new technology and find out how it affects the human body. Roll that tape.
Are you sick of slow mobile data speeds? Do you hate waiting for video streaming services to load? Is the second life you built in virtual reality to escape the crushing existence of the real world constantly disappointing you? Then have we got the gift for you. Introducing 5G. 5G is next generation technology for mobile networks, an evolution of 3G and 4G that promises lightning fast speeds, lower latency and increased network connections. It's now rolling out to a telco provider near you, and all you need to do is...
Alright, so 5G sure sounds like a promising new technology, but some are concerned it may have adverse health effects. In November 2018, a social media post
things
went
cannot be
viral
rolled
that
out so
suggested
massively
that in the
without
Netherlands,
checking.
300 birds had died due to 5G testing. Forums are awash with activists suggesting that the dangers of cell phone radiation are being suppressed. So, does 5G actually have health effects? Or is it just a
I
conspiracy
doubt
theory
it.
that's getting a little bit out of hand? Whack on your tinfoil hats, we're going to find out.
I mean,
Okay, so why are people
we're living
afraid
just
of
as long.
5G? One word: radiation. All of our connected devices emit radio frequency electromagnetic energy of various wavelengths. Low frequency wavelengths are used in, say, powering your smartphones, TVs, and computers. And this is referred to as non-ionizing radiation. It's not considered energetic enough to cause any health effects. On the other side of the spectrum, you have high frequency wavelengths such as ultraviolet radiation from the sun or X-rays. This is a more powerful type of energy and is known as ionizing radiation. It can rip electrons away from atoms and do some real damage to DNA. And if you're exposed to a lot of this type of radiation,
but
like
it's
say,
we're
some
not,
of these
it's not.
beachgoers may be,
What did he call
it can
it?
introduce errors into your DNA, causing the growth of diseases such as cancer. Fortunately,
What did he call it? He called it something very particular.
such as ultraviolet radiation from the sun or X-rays. This is a more powerful type of energy, and it's known as ionizing radiation.
So
it can rip electrons away from atoms and do some real damage to DNA. And if you're exposed to a lot
but
of
it's
this
not
type of
ionizing.
radiation, like,
The
say,
one
some
from
of these
cell phone
big
is
girls
not
may be,
ionizing.
it can introduce errors into
He says it right here.
causing the growth of diseases such as cancer. Fortunately, 5G radiation is non-ionizing.
Did you hear that?
Different to radiation from the sun or from X-ray.
He said it right here. 5G radiation is non-ionizing. Ionizing radiation is a type of radiation that is harmful. It's all pseudoscience. That book, the spectrum of whatever, is all pseudoscience. Just because it's in a book, it doesn't mean that it's true. Like, so Shakir says, I've done over 27 years of research. I've seen this video, I'm into this stuff. Well then, I mean, the guy here is saying it. Like, it literally, he's saying it right here. That it is non-ionizing.
So why are people worried? Well, there are a few important changes coming with
Let's
5G
see.
technology that have some people concerned about the negative health effects. One, it'll use millimeter wave technology. Two, that technology operates at higher frequencies than 3G and 4G. And three, that means we'll need more base stations and antennas to ensure we cover the same ground. So how exactly will millimeter wave technology affect the human body? We're going to need a diagram. The skin is a very effective barrier against things like bacteria, viruses, and even the weather. Now here's the thing about 5G. Ionizing radiation, such as some wavelengths of UV from the sun, can penetrate the skin, whereas things like radio waves actually penetrate through the skin without doing any damage at all. 5G wavelengths fall smack in the middle. They only barely penetrate the skin and they don't have the energy required to damage DNA.
There we go.
Information isn't enough to allay fears. Many opponents of 5G point to a World Health Organization report in 2011 that suggests cell phone radiation could cause cancer. Now that report was put together by the International Agency for Research on Cancer and suggests that cell phone radiation should be listed as...
Okay, so give me a second. So I'm going to make some notes on this and then we're going to research on this. All right? Give me 1 second. Give me a second. Pseudoscience is just so exhausting, you know. So give me 1 second.
possibly carcinogenic, like aloe leaf extract, diesel fuel.
So who was new findings? So who? World Health Organization's new findings. So WHO cell phones findings, potential cancer risk. Let's keep looking.
Could cause cancer. Now that report was put together by the International Agency for Research on Cancer and suggests that cell phone radiation should be listed as possibly carcinogenic.
Possibly carcinogenic, possibly.
Extract, diesel fuel, and pickled vegetables. So I asked Andrew Wood, a professor at Swinburne University, exactly what that rating means.
If there's any evidence of some sort of association between exposure to these things and certain types of cancer, then it goes into the possibly carcinogenic bracket. If it's backed up with laboratory studies, mechanism studies, then it gets boosted up to the probably carcinogenic bracket.
Thousands of scientific studies have been performed looking at radio frequency radiation and its effects on human cells, animals like rats and mice, and human tissue including brain, skin, and eyes. And there's literally mountains of data and mountains of research suggesting that there's no link between cell phone radiation and something like cancer.
Guess which student has
there
a
we
better
go.
chance of getting
There's
into
a lot of
a
research.
school? First, take a look at Zach. He's valedictorian, National Merit Scholar, and he's president of the debate team. He's got a 4.4 weighted GPA and a near.
But take a look online and you'll find hundreds of websites and Facebook groups with a laundry list of problems apparently associated with 5G. So we've taken a look at this list and we're going to clear those things up. Roll that clip.
Let's see.
Thanks, Jackson. Mark is ready. So, 5G is new and untested. Well, actually, 5G isn't new. The wavelengths have been used in airport scanners and radar for a long time, and initially, 5G will actually use the same wavelengths as 4G.
Did you guys see?
More antennas means more exposure. As we've already shown, 5G isn't energetic enough to penetrate the skin or damage DNA. Some scientists even suggest that new beamforming technology could reduce exposure. High-frequency wavelengths are worse than low-frequency wavelengths. Well, that's not the case for ionizing radiation and other radio waves. I mean, even visible light can penetrate the skin if it's powerful enough. And of course, 5G is a mind-controlled experiment.
Oh, so now we're getting to more mind control stuff.
That sounds great, but aren't there studies that show that cell phone use causes cancer?
Well, man, that's kind of complicated. The easy answer is not really. Two of the most frequently mentioned studies are, one, the US National Toxicology Study, and two, a study by Italy's Ramazzini Institute. In both studies, male rats that were exposed to huge amounts of radio frequency radiation sometimes developed cancer in their hearts and in their brains. However, the studies have been dubbed controversial because they feature huge amounts of radiation and exposure that far exceeds what humans would experience, making it much harder to draw conclusions. All that is to say that many of the arguments against 5G are not based in strong scientific fact. Despite that, over 240 scientists and researchers have petitioned the World Health Organization Environment Program to take another look at the damage radio frequency radiation may be having, and not just on humans, but also on the environment. And one question that remains is, can we actually rule out the long-term effects of exposure to 5G wavelengths?
In my mind, it's unlikely. I guess my main reason for saying that is that people have looked at brain tumour and other tumour rates over the last few decades, and during that time the usage of mobile phones has gone from 0 in 1980 to more or less all of the human population. So you'd expect a massive increase in incidence of certain types of tumour if indeed there was a cause and effect relationship.
And that makes sense, right? I mean, phones practically surround every single facet of our daily lives, and they've done so for the last 20 years. So we should see an increase in the incidence of brain tumours. But we don't. Studies in the US, Europe, and Australia have all failed to show increasing brain cancer rates since the 1990s.
Give me a second, I need to check something. I want to make sure that my stream isn't getting like cancelled, because last time I checked something. Last time I checked, last time I did something like this, it got cut off by YouTube. Oh no, there it was. I just want to make sure that everything is okay before we keep going. Come on. Give me a second. There was stream. Oh, here. Okay, yeah, we're good.
When phones became heavily adopted. Even though 5G hasn't been around long enough to perform these types of studies with cell phones, the frequencies and wavelengths it uses have been.
Now, it's not that nobody knows anything about these
See?
frequencies, because people used to use waveguides for communication systems and also for radar systems. And so there's been like half a century of experiments where biological systems have been exposed to these high frequencies without anything too dramatic appearing.
So where does that leave us? Well, on one hand, we need more good science. We need more research into 5G millimeter wavelengths and long-term studies examining how exposure affects human health.
So it's not conclusive.
What we don't need is Denise from Facebook telling everyone that cell phones are going to give them cancer or that 5G is a mind control experiment. Denise, seriously, give it a rest. Anyway, I'm Jackson Ryan, science editor at CNET.com, and you're probably watching this on a mobile phone emitting radiation.
So, you see? So, even though the studies are conclusive, there is not enough evidence. And the truth is that you cannot be going all out and about assuming that everything is going to give you cancer or that your awakening is going to be stopped because of a cell phone. Like, that makes absolutely... I guess if you pretty much dive yourself into that type of content, it is going to be harmful for you because you're going to be paranoid all the time. Oh my God, I'm going to get cancer because of cell phone. Like, you know, the whole thing with 5Gs during the pandemic, I actually, you know, kind of began believing that. However, I just came to the realization that I was like, there's no way, you know, there's no way the government is going to allow any type of company to make these things out and about. So look, friend, like as you can see, like friend is saying, so let's see, let me show you. So here friend is saying, the 5G is brainwashing me into cruising for dudes. Like you can see that because, like, do you see how much friend is fried in the head? So friend is fried in the head so much that he literally believes that 5G is brainwashing him and making him cruise for dudes. So like he's already crazy. Like who is gonna be out there and be like, oh my God, 5G is brainwashing me into cruising for dudes. Like that's what happens to you. Don't turn into friend here on the chat. Like friend is an insane person. So like, and the thing is that you're gonna have crazy people like friend making all these types of how do you say, all these crazy types of not impositions of statements, you know. So like don't be like friend, like this guy that you see here on the screen. Like this guy is already like, he probably went so much into all the 5G stuff that he was already made crazy to the point of no return, which would be the only thing that makes sense. Why would anyone believe that 5G is brainwashing them into cruising for dudes? Like friend is obviously like trying to blame his hungry pie hole hungriness for huge BBCs, and he is saying that he cannot blame himself for that. So he's wants to accuse it into it being the fault of 5G. So don't be like 5G, you know. And cruising online for BBCs is bad for you already. So like friend, I'm so sorry that you have been brainwashed so hard by your own hunger, by your own hungry hole, that your relentless and bottomless lizard mouth, hairy lizard mouth is so hungry for huge giant phallic items and male organs that you cannot help it but to blame it onto onto 5G. So the truth, man, is that it's your hungry hole. It's not a 5G, and you're simply projecting your embarrassment onto 5G. So man, go to rehab or something. Anyway, so now let's keep going on the content that we're here for. So now we're gonna check out Twitter X Gangstalking content. So I'm just glad that I'm able to help you. So here's the first thing that we see is targeted individual voice to school technology. So like, why are all these people like they're just? It's crazy how gangstalking works into itself. You know what I mean? So let's see, friend. What is friend saying? Friend is saying, at least I'm not doing poppers and smoking hard like you used to. What does that even mean? English is not my first language, so honestly, I'm not like completely. I do not dominate the English language, so I'm sorry, but you have to rephrase that. Try that again. Your abuela is going to get angry with you. What do you mean? Okay, so let's go. Let's keep going. So notice that here where it says voice to skull technology, like all of a sudden, like if you're getting targeted, gangstalking makes your reality so distorted, so that and it's really hard to understand what's happening to you. That the closest thing when you look at gangstalking, there's a lot of voice to skull technology. There's a lot of this stuff being pushed on targets, and that's possibly the worst thing that you can look for. Like this type of content is actually harmful. So here we go. Let's keep going. Let's check this out. Targeted individual posted this. Let's see.
Frequencies to subtly influence people's thoughts. Imagine there was a classified project called Operation Spectrum, using ultrasonic and electromagnetic frequencies to subtly influence people's thoughts, emotions, and actions, all without them realizing it. Certain frequencies have been found to cause everything from mild anxiety and discomfort to calmness and even compliance. By adjusting the frequency output, they can make a crowd restless, focused, or subdued, all without a single word.
Let's do a little bit of research onto this.
This could be used on mobile emitters.
Look at how paranoid these people are trying to make you.
Street lights, traffic cameras, and even cell towers.
Let's look onto this. So Gangstalking Universe saying, hi there, it's great idea to discuss all the nonsense content in order to disassemble those lies. Yeah, absolutely. And he's saying this is all about this information campaign created by trolls for further discrediting. Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with you. So let's see what this is talking about. Let's do a little bit of research onto this. So we're gonna look at it again, and then we're gonna do a little bit of research onto this.
Imagine there was a classified project called Operation Spectrum.
Operation Spectrum. Also, by the way, so friend is a gangstalker that knows me. That person knows exactly who I am, FYI. So this person knows who I am. From where? I don't know. I don't care. However, that person knows me. So look, I told you guys that I have had problems with drug addiction because of gangstalking, and this person is already telling me, at least I'm not doing poppers and smoking hard like you used to. You know what I mean? Like, actually that made me want a cigarette. but here, friend, is someone that is here that knows me. So just know that in the chat we have an actual gangstalker, that knows the entire gangstalking operation. So we're gonna keep him for our amusement. So just FYI, if friend gets anyone uncomfortable, please let me know. But we like to have gangstalkers here in the chat, so that we are to illustrate the behavior of gangstalkers. Okay, so listen, pay attention now. That friend is actually putting who are the gangstalkers. So notice that we really like gangstalking is something that is imposed onto us. So gangstalkers themselves are the ones that are going to be putting who are the gangstalkers, who are these, but the truth is that any type of hater that you have is going to be a gangstalker, especially if it can be someone jealous of what you're doing, because notice that like the purpose of the person of friend, like friend is here in the chat to create chaos. You know what I mean? So like no, like if you guys go on the chat, you guys can see that that's all that everything that this person is doing is trying to interrupt the chaos, and it's fine because it helps me illustrate. So notice that this person is here just trying to be chaotic, and that's so gangstalkers behave exactly the same way that they behave in person as online. They're gonna be like, "Who are the gangstalkers? Oh my god, who are the gangstalkers?" But notice that like we all know that they're haters. We all know that they're haters, and they believe, and the fact that most of us targets don't really have a clear understanding of gang stalking. They try to make themselves more important, more mysterious. But the truth is that they are literally just some stupid people. That because the stupid people in large numbers are very dangerous. Just understand this. Thankfully, we only have one stupid person here. So here we got Gangstalker Universe says, "Friend, you smell like a gangstalker from a distance." Let me add to that. Yeah, he's an absolute hater with a giant, hungry. Yeah. Anyways, so moving on. So let's check this out. Let's check this information.
Using ultrasonic and electromagnetic frequencies.
And they called it
ultrasonic
Operation Spectrum. So let's check that out. Let's do a little bit of research on Operation Spectrum. This is gonna be fun. Let's check it out on YouTube.
Solo agrégalo, lava y maravíllate. Huele unstoppable.
University of Maryland Global Campus is a school for
Oh,
real
ew,
life,
it's like
one
an
that
album. So what do we have here? Just hey Elohim, how are you? He's saying, my beautiful precious. Mwah, how are you? I hope you're doing good. So Dominique is saying, first say, no one is gang stalking you. You aren't that important. So see, also actually this is good. This is amazing. So look, let's look at the chat. So here, check this out. So here we got this. So look at how contradicting the behavior of gang stalkers are. So look, friend is here trying to create chaos, right? And then, you know, he was here yesterday. He was like, you can go on yesterday's stream and you can see that he was here yesterday having a conversation with us. You know, he was still trying to create chaos. And now listen to this person. So this person is saying, nobody is stalking you. You are not that important. And guess what? He's here investing his time with us. I'm not that important, yet he has been here for the past 3 days, you know, messing with me or trying to mess with me. So he himself saying, he's saying, you're not that important, but I clearly am because he's here. Yesterday he was here 2 hours. The effort was here 2 hours, guys. And then he's saying, why would strangers follow you around and watch you buy chicharrones? The whole world doesn't revolve around you. But look, his world clearly does revolve around me because he's here. You know what I mean? So like that in itself tells you the entire methodology. Like he's obviously here investing his time on me. Like he can be here all he wants because like the more he engages, that helps my stream. He's actually helping me. That's why I decided to do YouTube. Because I knew that gangstalkers were gonna try to mess everything that I do. So what if I turn the tables around and make sure that everything that they do, instead of harming me, helps me? And that's what I'm doing. It's a checkmate, you know. But they're too stupid to realize it. So notice that this person is saying you're not that important, and he's here giving me importance. So Gangstalking Universe saying, Friend, it is not about importance. It's about hatred and sick joy of doing this to somebody. You deny it. You are here only to make chaos here. Oh my God, you are so obvious gaslighting cluster B. Exactly. So Dominic is saying, why do all of our stalkers sound the same? Because I shout out to you. So they do the same. They behave the exact same way because their behavior is their personality. They don't have a personality. They have patterns of defending what they believe in, and they all work the same way. So, Dominic, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you subscribe to the channel. Guys, don't forget to drop a like. And so let's keep going. So, Spectrum mediation. Let's check this out. Operation Spectrum. And let's put it under... And look, I feel like there's going to be no information on Operation Spectrum. And emotional control, let's see. The only thing that we find on the internet about Operation Spectrum is it's the same video. See, there's no information online about it. There's zero information. Someone is, okay, so one thing that you guys have to understand about the internet is that people make money whenever you put out content. Content makes people money. Whatever it is, be it true or not. People are going to post things to entertain you. You know, so there's going to be a lot of misinformation, a lot of creative works of art that are actually meant to create money. So like this stuff, there is absolutely no weight onto it. This is just a creation for someone. Friend, you aren't being rational. How am I being... Okay, so friend says you are not being rational. How am I not being rational? Can you explain? So notice that here, there is nothing. There is nothing. So now let's keep going on to Twitter X. So notice that I'm the one being incredibly rational, and I'm being accused of not being rational by friend. So that again, that's gaslighting. That person is a psychopath. He's a total psycho. Psychopaths are always trying to gaslight you. So we're gonna be searching. Oh yeah, Twitter X, not TikTok. Like we're literally doing this, being as rational as possible. and the one thing that this guy is saying, you're not being rational. You're not being rational. Oh my God, you're not being rational. Why don't you go get your milkshake pounded, okay? So friend is saying, you think that three separate groups of stalkers? I never said three. I never said any group of people. I said that gang stalkers are a bunch of haters. I never said that they were following me. What are you talking about? You're crazy. See that now he's twisting my words, is trying to put more words into what I actually said. So let's see. You think that three separate groups of gang stalkers are following you? I never said that. You guys know that I have never said that. And your viewers around, and that I am one of them, or are you just being pregnant and suffering from delusions of relation? What do you even mean? That makes no sense. Like, notice that I'm literally here talking about gang stalking, and all I'm doing is that I have been getting gang stalked. I've experienced it before. I know manipulation. I know what it is, and I'm discrediting all the misinformation about directed energy weapons. Like, we're exploring the truth, and yet even when we are trying to do everything and trying to actually get rationality out of it, and we're doing research, and there's this guy here that's saying that you think 3 separate groups of gang stalkers follow you. I never said that once. I never said that once. And then he said, and your viewers around. Following you and your and it's following you and your viewers around. Like, no one ever here in that chat ever said anything about 3 different groups of people. No one. And then this person is also saying, and that I am one of them. You obviously are, because you are here. And you were here yesterday. You're obviously keeping tabs on the channel. And then it's saying, oh, are you just being paranoid? And I'm not being paranoid. Like, you are one of them because you're obviously here all the time. And all you come here is to tell us that we are paranoid, that we are schizophrenic. Like, that is gang stalker behavior. You are obviously a gang stalker, and you are demonstrating it with your own actions. You just accused me of being one of your gang stalkers, dude. Yeah, because it's true. So that it's one group. You have 2 other viewers claim to being followed. That's 3. So look, first you need to work on your grammar, because you're obviously conveying the complete wrongful message. And I never said that you're following them. We are saying that you are a gang stalker. That's it. And it's obviously true. Because one of the primary characteristics of a gang stalker is accusing people that talk about gang stalking of being schizophrenic and having paranoid delusions. And we have also covered that paranoid delusions are actually imposed on the target by gang stalkers. No one has paranoid delusions for no reason. People do sketchy things around gang stalkers to make them paranoid. And you know that. However, you're going to keep denying that because that's your job. So keep doing your job so you can keep illustrating what a gang stalker is. Okay? Thank you for investing your valuable time in here with us, by the way. We appreciate you so much, more than you would ever believe. Okay, so now let's keep going. So there are 3 people in the chat that claim that being gang. Yeah, that's 3 different sets of stalkers, unless you all live in the same city. Dude, you're being weird. Like, we're talking about gang stalking itself, dude. Okay, so let's keep going. So targeted individual, faster downloading, faster human cooking, faster cancer. So see, notice that all of this content ties back in to the initial content. This content is tying back into the 5G. You know what I mean? So there's a bunch of content that is trying to make you paranoid about your own cell phone killing you. Like, that's crazy. So, oh my God. So look at this stuff. It's saying directed energy weapons for population control, also known as 5G cell towers. Don't look. Microwave frequencies in the 30 hertz range can be used. Okay, so let's see what this claims. This is saying microwave frequencies in the 30 hertz range can cause illness and health. Microwave radiation can cause cell disruption and even if it's not felt. So let's check this out. So let's check this. So it says, so we already know that 5G cell towers are not direct energy weapons. This freaking image is saying that 5G cell towers are direct energy weapons. Like, that makes absolutely no sense. You know what I mean? So now let's see, microwave frequencies in the 30 hertz range. So let's see what 30 hertz range microwave frequencies actually are. So look at this. Check this out. Based on the information provided, a frequency range of 30 hertz is not within the typical definition of microwave frequencies. Microwave frequencies in the 30 hertz range. Do you see this? Do you see all this misinformation? Chat, type yes, type yes on the chat so that I know that you guys are that I know that you guys are actually understanding this. So look, most of the gang stalking can actually be destroyed with critical thinking. So look, this is an obvious intent at making people paranoid. So this is literally saying directed energy weapons for population control, also known as 5G cell towers. And guess what? We already checked 5G cell towers, and they're not even harmful. We just did that research. And now we're going here, and we're saying microwave frequencies in the 30th hertz range. So 30 hertz range frequencies do not qualify. Do not qualify as... Oh, wrong window. Give me a second. Do not qualify as microwave frequencies. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, are you serious? So now we're going here. So microwave frequencies generally range from 300 megahertz to 300 gigahertz. This corresponds to wavelengths between 1 meter and 1 millimeter. So notice that the frequencies are simply not, it's not squaring off. Like, this information is wrong. The whole information is wrong. It says right here. And let's see if, so first we already cut off that it's not a microwave frequency. 30 hertz frequencies are not considered microwave frequencies. So that's not a definite. So now we're going on the next one. Blah, blah, blah. And look, so can cause illness and death. So now let's find out. Can frequencies in the 30th hertz range can cause illness or death? Let's find that out. Generally, there is limited evidence to support the claim that 30 hertz frequencies and the it's sound at a common exposure can cause illness or death. However, some research suggests the potential link between low frequency sound, including infrasound below 20 hertz, and certain health. So it's below 30 hertz, and certain health effects, although more research is needed. Here's a summary of potential effects. Here's a summary of potential effects and the current understanding. At very high sound pressure levels, SPLs, sound pressure levels, okay, infrasound has been linked to symptoms like nausea, fatigue, bowel disturbances, and a feeling of vibration in the body. Some studies suggest a possible link between the low frequency noise, which can include infrasound, and effects like annoyance, sleep annoyance, that's cool, like annoyance, sleep disruption, cognitive dysfunction, and cardiovascular issues. So they did not even get the frequencies right. And it says that there is a possible link. However, controlled studies, specifically on infrasound, so it's not even microwave sounds. It's filled with BS. From sources like wind turbines have not consistently found a link between infrasound and symptoms like annoyance or sleep. So it's saying low frequency noise, infrasound, not even microwave weapons. A study on mice exposed to 30 hertz infrasound. So it's infrasound. So let's find out what's the difference between infrasound and microwave frequencies, because I don't know. What's the difference between microwave and infrasound frequencies? Microwave and infrasound. Okay, let's see. Let's see what the difference. Microwave and infrasound frequencies represent distinct parts of the electromagnetic and sound spectrum. Respectively, microwaves are a type of electromagnetic radiation with frequencies ranging from 300 megahertz to 300 gigahertz. While infrasound refers to sound waves with frequencies below the threshold of human hearing, typically below 20 hertz. So how can anyone with a clear understanding of frequencies can mistake microwaves frequencies or electromagnetic radiation frequencies with infrasound frequencies? Anyone that can confuse, like, so like a microwave frequency, there's no way it's going to be on a 30 megahertz. It makes no sense. So let's see. Let's see what our current Gangstalker is saying. Our Gangstalker is saying, so you don't dispute that there must be 3 different groups of Gangstalkers just for you 3 people. You know, actually, that I don't dispute that. No, I don't dispute that. Unless it's one big one. But I don't know. I don't care. I don't have the right information to make a conclusive decision. You are crazy, dude. You are losing it. Oh my god, I'm so crazy. I'm so losing it. I'm losing my milkers. Stop trying to debunk other people when you're the exact same as them. Oh my god. Guys, I'm getting harassed. Someone is calling me crazy online. Oh my god. I need to fix my maxi pad. Shut up. Anyways, so moving on. So like right now we can immediately assess that here in the chat, let's say, like here in the chat, it literally doesn't make any sense. Like none of this makes sense. None of the whole thing. This is all wrong. You know what I mean? So like if you're already talking to an individual, please make sure to do your research before believing any of this stuff. Let's see. So our friend messages, says, he's saying, no counter argument, just add homonyms. You know, I do not speak Latin, so I don't know what that means. I'm gonna do my research. Let's see. Add homonyms. An argument or reaction directed against a person rather than the position they are maintaining. You're doing the exact same thing. You do the exact same thing, dude. So this guy is saying that I'm doing ad hominems when he's been doing that exact same thing the entire time. The entire thing he's been here. He's literally doing that same thing. Projection much? He's saying you aren't being rational when I'm being everything about rationality. This guy is immediately attacking me. This is so funny. The government isn't sending agents. I never said that they were. So now Fred is saying, look at what Fred is saying. The government isn't sending agents to bang on your WhatsApp. I never said that. I never said that once. And then he is also saying, go to a doctor and get a prescription for an antipsychotic. You'll feel better. I feel fine. Notice that now he's the one doing the ad hominems. How do you even pronounce it? Because I'm not even sure how to pronounce that.
Ad hominem.
Ad hominem. Like this guy is crazy, dude. Like, why is this guy making assumptions that I believe? Notice that this guy is accusing me of believing that the government is sending people to my house. You know what I mean? So, Gangstalking Universe saying nobody is nobody is saying anything about agents, dude. You are so soaked in GSBS that you ignored the real content of this channel. Yeah, so this is the thing, is that gangstalkers are pushing the gangstalking narrative because gangstalkers believe that they successfully mess with my head. So people who are targeted end up believing that they are being harassed by the government. But the thing is that because they didn't succeed at making me believe that, they assume that that's my belief. Like, notice that if you go online, there's people that say that the government is sending people to their home. That is the symptom of someone getting gangstalked. The symptom of a successful gangstalking operation is having the belief that someone is being harassed by the government. So notice that gangstalkers are always going to make the assumption that you believe that you're being harassed by the government, because that is the result. That is the finalization of a successfully destroyed target, is when they believe that they are being harassed by the government. But this is what gangstalkers don't understand, is that if you add critical thinking to everything about gangstalking, you can understand gangstalking in its entirety. Therefore, returning your mind back to normalcy. And that is the goal of this channel, to dispute everything about gangstalking and actually show targets the truth. That the belief that you're being harassed by the government is the result of a successful gangstalking operation. And the thing is that, notice that friend has no other option, because they don't know what else to do, because targets typically believe that they are being harassed by the government. However, notice that I'm being rational, and that his entire existence, or all of his actions are not squaring in with me. None of the things that he's saying are actually fitting in, because they didn't successfully brainwash me. And brainwashing is literally just convincing someone of directed energy weapons existing. But when it's like when someone, it's like in Scientology, when there's all these people being convinced of Xenu, and people will live this stuff. So like, it's like when if you check out like the videos of Scientology, there's a bunch of people that have the testimony when they talk about them not being permitted to the internet. Why? Because you can find all the information on the internet, and you can dismantle everything that Scientology has worked so hard to convince targets of, or to convince their parishioners. And the internet is filled with propaganda made by gangstalkers for targets to keep them brainwashed. It's the same thing. But yeah, like friend, like he's literally illustrating gangstalking behavior. So like any target can see that. And we have it all on a live stream, which is amazing. So let's keep going. So guys, notice that none of this fits, right? Like, directed energy weapons for population control are also known as 5G cell towers. No, they are not known as 5G cell towers. Microwave frequencies in the 30 hertz range, microwave frequencies in the 30 hertz range are, what is it? They are not considered microwave frequencies, because microwave frequencies are from 300. Let's see. Microwave frequencies are from 300 megahertz to 300 gigahertz. So I think if we should just block friend, this show will be. Do you guys want me to block him? Like, to be honest, it's just like now you guys have a clear illustration of their behavior. So if you guys want me to block him, just put a thumbs down and put friend, and now ban him from the channel. So we notice here that microwave frequencies are not in the 30 hertz range. Like, you guys know that, right? Gangstalking Universe says, let him continue. It's good to look after those patterns and learn. Yeah, gold example of their chart. Exactly. We can actually make training on that to teach targets how to assemble. Yeah. So, no, friend, are you here still? Why are you not typing anymore? We need you here. Say something. We miss you. Give me a second. So now you guys can see not the mistake, but the misinformation that goes on these things, right? You guys can clearly see that there is just a lot of misinformation here in this single post. That 5G cell towers are not directed energy weapons, 30 megahertz are not microwave. Microwave frequencies are from 300 mega to gigahertz. She left. And then here we have this, like, microwave radiation can cause cell disruption, and that so, like, through logic and critical thinking, we can see that none of this is true, right? This is obvious. So look at all the misinformation that a account named targeted individual is putting out. And look, so cook meat indoors. And we already see the microwave, like these two are complete different types of radiation. This one is microwave, this is 5G. Ionized, and non-ionized. So, again here, non-ionizing radiation are fundamentally different from how they interact with matter. Ionizing radiation has enough energy to remove electrons from atoms, creating ions and potentially causing significant damage to living tissue. So ionizing frequencies are the ones in the microwave, and non-ionizing are the ones in 5G towers. So let's see, ionizing frequencies, 5G towers. So 5G towers have non-ionizing frequencies. It says here, 5G towers use radio frequency RF electromagnetic energy, which is a form of non-ionizing radiation. Non-ionizing radiation doesn't do anything. It doesn't. And yet there is content right here that is trying to make you believe that you can get cooked with a cell tower just as much as with a freaking microwave. You see it? There is so much propaganda pushing this stuff. It's propaganda for targeted individuals. Why do you think that the name of the account is targeted individual? So, Phil, you know exactly who's targeted. Okay, so what is this? Let's check this out.
We make a version of this which puts out 155 decibels. Pain is 120. 100 yards away when they play this thing. And so another way of hopefully determining who's friendly and who isn't. We make a version of this which puts out 155 decibels. Pain is 120. So it allows you to go nearly a mile away and communicate with people, and there can be a public beach just off to the side and they don't even know it's turned on. We sell those to the military presently for about $70,000, and they're buying them as fast as we can make them.
Mind control, the power. Look at how expensive those are. 70,000. Do you really think there's people going to be walking? Let's see if we have pictures of it. Let's check that out. So the God voice weapon. Let's find this out. Let's see this. Let's check this a little bit more. So this is by Wired. And it says, the voice of God weapon, a device that projects voices into your head to make you think God is speaking to you, is the military's equivalent of an urban myth. Meaning, it's mentioned periodically at defense workshops. Ironically, I heard first about it in the same defense conference where I first met Noah. Voice of God weapon. A device that projects voices into your head to make you think God is speaking to you is the military equivalent of an urban myth, meaning it's mentioned periodically at defense workshops. Ironically, blah, 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 where we read that. And typically someone whispers about it actually being used. Now, Stephen Corman, writing the COMOPS journal, describes his own encounter with this urban myth. Let's see. Let's see if there's videos about it. Let's check it out. But like, do you really think that there's going to be people?
You've heard of the active denial system in the military. It's this dish that sends out a beam of frequency towards people that are looking to do harm. It'll make you stop in your tracks. It'll make you feel like you got to vomit. It'll make you feel like you're on fire. It can even put voices in your head. It's called the active denial system in the military. And the Emerald Tablets, Thoth has this group of people coming at him because they don't know who he is when he lands his ship. He says, I raised my staff and sent out a ray of vibration which stopped them still in their tracks. It sounds like the active denial system to me. Same technology, just a different year. What we're doing now, we're just simply rediscovering everything that already existed.
That is so much BS. I hate it when they start to get into like the Emerald Tablets and this and that. Ugh. Do you guys want to watch this? So there is. Let's see what the Wire article said first. Is there any business to this technology? We have versions of directed sound which can follow a single person to hear a message that others around don't hear. DARPA appears to be working on its own sonic projector. Intriguingly, Strategy Page reports that troops are using long-range acoustic device as a modified voice of God weapon. So there are always like urban myths about technology that never come to be used like normal. Like here, they're even saying that it is a myth. It's the equivalent of an urban myth. They say it right here. Blah, blah, blah. Like they said, it's $70,000. Do you really think that people are going to be walking around with a $70,000 weapon? And they want to do you when these are bought by the military primarily? Like, that makes absolutely no sense. It is not just all those boys, but entire holographic image. So even the person at Wired is not sure it exists. And listen to this. Does anybody think this thing will actually convince people God is speaking to them? I'm thinking not. Like, this is just all, this is a myth. It's a freaking myth. And they say that they use it in conferences. That they talk about it in conference, but only in conferences. Anyway, so this is going to be it for this live stream, guys. Please don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. The goal of this channel is to help people understand gang stalking and to literally just debunk all the misinformation about gang stalking that is out there. If you guys have any questions, concerns, or suggestions, please feel free to put any of those things anywhere on the channel. I check my messages obsessively. Thank you guys so much for watching.